librarian here at the Scott County Public Library in Georgetown, Kentucky, and I am here today for another Book Bites. Today's kind of a special one. 3 of the 4 books I'll be reviewing are ALA award-winning finalists. They're not the actual award winners, we haven't gotten to read those yet, but they're finalists. So I'm excited to talk about those. And I will be posting a full list of the winners and the finalists on the Teen Services page of our website. So make sure you check that out. That's scottpublib.org. Just a couple announcements before I jump into these reviews. We have our next tab meetup on March 2nd, and that'll be on Zoom at 6 p.m. So you can email me or register on our event calendar to receive a email with the meeting link for that. And we are also having our Creative Writing Club every month. It's the first and the 4th Wednesday of every month. So if you're interested, email me and I will send you more details about that. Also upcoming is our March Take and Make, which is this ombre paper wall hanging here behind me. You'll get a bag with everything that you need except for maybe glue or a stapler if you want to use a stapler. And it's just kind of a fun, quick, colorful project. Kind of chase away those winter blues as we edge into spring here. And also in March, we are going to be doing a squash book tutorial with Miss Rosie, and it's going to be super fun. I love them. They're so much fun to play with, guys. And final announcement, the library is open for browsing. So you all can come in and see us and look through the shelves and find some books for yourself without having to wonder what's new. We have it all out and available for you to come and see us, and that will be Sunday through Thursday, 1 to 7 p.m. So come in and check out some new books, guys. Okay, so let's jump into these book reviews. I'm going to start over here on this side with Black Girl Unlimited by Echo Brown. This was a Morris Award finalist, and the Morris Award is an award for a debut book published by a first-time author writing for teens. So this was the first book that Miss Echo Brown ever wrote for teens, and it is amazing. There's so many emotions that it brings about, and it really kind of challenged me as a reader to look at the world in a different way. It's riveting. Once you get into it, you really can't pull yourself away. And it's also heartbreaking. There's so many things that happen to Echo. So it's kind of like a kind of autobiographical. The main character, her name is Echo. And she grows up in New York in kind of a rough situation. And she discovers at a kind of young age that she has magic. So for the first kind of almost, I want to say, quarter of the book, I wasn't really sure if this was just Echo playing make-believe to make it, easier to deal with her situation, or if I was supposed to, as the reader, believe that she actually did have magic and could affect her reality. And then as the book goes on, it kind of becomes clear that no, she does have magic, and she can kind of instigate these changes through the way that she thinks about the world. So that's what makes it so kind of like, it's just so riveting, is you're not really sure what's going on, but you want to know more. And then it's heartbreaking because all of the things that happen to Echo are just, they just grab your heart and squeeze it. But it's really uplifting because by the end, Echo has really discovered who she is as a person, who she is as a woman, and who she is as a wizard. So this one will follow under the category of kind of like a magical realism. So if you liked Slay by Brittany Morris, A Song Below Water by Bethany Morrow, or A Phoenix First Must Burn, which is a collection of short stories, then I highly recommend that you check out Black Girl Unlimited. It's a remarkable true story of a teenage wizard, I believe is the rest of it. But really, really good, guys. On my pizza scale, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 8 slices. Really, really wonderful. And then over here, skipping the graphic novel for now, is another Morris Award finalist. This is Woven in Moonlight. And you may remember Mercedes had reviewed this book a while back when we were doing these together. So I'm just going to kind of run through it real quick. Examina is the decoy condessa, who's the stand-in for the last remaining Illustrian royal. But she's summoned to the capital to marry the tyrant usurper Adhoc, and she wants her revenge. So she goes and she has this plan that she's going to use her magic, which is weaving moonlight into tapestries, that she's going to be able to basically stage an uprising. But once she gets to the capital, she's challenged by a masked vigilante, so kind of like Zorro, which I love, and the kind-hearted princess, who she didn't even really know about, and then a thoughtful healer who angers her and intrigues her in equal measure. So she's kind of forced to recognize that there's more than just her viewpoint, that there's a, yes, there's this usurper who took away her family and took away her home, and he's just ruining the kingdom in her opinion. But then she kind of looks and says, well, to be fair, we kind of did that to them first. So I really liked this book because it kind of makes you stop and look at your own kind of preconceived prejudices and try to figure out, well, what am I looking at that may not be the whole truth? But, Examina starts to realize that there may be another way to get the throne, but in order to do it, she has to turn her back on the only family she has left and, give up the opportunity for her revenge and also betray her best friend, the real Condessa. So she is kind of torn, but she decides ultimately, that she's going to follow her own path and do what she believes is best. So read likes for this one, Ignite the Stars by Mara Milan. One that I really think would be kind of a hand-in-hand read is the first book in the Circle of Magic Quartet by my favorite author, Tamora Pierce. It's called Sandry's book, and it is about a young girl who also discovers that she has magic, just like Examina, in weaving. So I think those go really, really well together. And then if you also kind of like the more Latinx themes and kind of background, a more modern fiction would be Don't Date Rosa Santos by Nina Moreno, which I've read before and I think is adorable, so I highly recommend it as well. So this one is also a wonderful book. I'm gonna go ahead and give it 7 out of 8 slices because I'm a little partial to more of the fantasy magic that was going on. So I think this one almost gets the whole pizza. And then my third book that I'm reviewing today is another award finalist. This is The Cat I Never Named, and it's actually a finalist for the Excellence in Nonfiction for Young Adults. And I haven't finished reading it yet, so I feel a little funny reviewing it, but I'm probably about 3/4 of the way through. And oh man, this book just gives me chills. It follows the story of the author, so it's more of a autobiographical. I'm not really sure. I always get those confused. But it's about as she grows up during the siege of Bihać during the Bosnian War. And every time I talk about this book, I'm blown away because there's this kind of overarching feeling of dread that something terrible is coming, and then the bombs start falling on her city. And then she kind of rises above it, and she's just calm. And in an interview that I was reading, the author, I think it's Amra, I may have probably mispronounced that, but she talks about how every day you just have to focus on that day. There's no promise of tomorrow because you never know when you're going to, come into a dangerous situation. So the only thing you can do is focus on that day, on that moment. And it's really interesting to me that she really captures that feeling in her writing. That there's this feeling always of there's another shoe waiting to drop and it's going to hurt. But at the same time, there's kind of a calmness that in this moment, in this day, everything is okay until it's not. So obviously it follows her life, but there's also, as the title gives away, a cat. The cat she never named. They call Matsi, which is the Bosnian word for cat. So in a way it's kind of a name, but it's kind of also a title. And Matsi throughout the book just gives her family so much hope and so much love that she becomes a family member. And it blows me away, guys. I'm terrified to finish reading because I'm heartbroken already. But it's so good. It's so good. I can't recommend it enough. So some read-alikes for this are the actual finalist for the Excellence in Nonfiction is The Rise and Fall of Charles Lindbergh by Candace Fleming. I haven't read it, but Miss Mary Lou has read it and she said it is wonderful. So I'm looking forward to reading it, and I recommend it with quite a bit of certainty that it is very good. And then another nonfiction that I have read that I really enjoyed is The Family Romanov, which is also by Candace Fleming. And that follows the story of the Romanov family in Russia. So you think Anastasia, the Lost Princess, but it follows kind of their family as they basically lose power during the Russian Revolution and kind of what happens to them after. So it's a really, really interesting nonfiction read as well. And it was fun for me when I was reading it because it was just kind of like connecting all of these dots of history all over the world, basically. So it was really fun to read. So those are the award finalists that I have read or am reading and that I recommend. And then I also wanted to talk about this graphic novel. This is a graphic novel that I believe has been in our collection for a little while, but it was new to me. It was recommended by a fellow librarian here, and it is Paper Girls by Brian Vaughan, who is the best-selling writer of Saga, and then it's also illustrated by Cliff Chiang? I probably butchered that, I apologize, who is an artist on the Wonder Woman graphic novels. So it's, really great talents coming together. And I'm going to just read the description off the back. So in the early hours after Halloween of 1988, 4 12-year-old newspaper delivery girls uncover the most important story of all time. So in this novel, suburban drama and supernatural mysteries collide in this smash hit series about nostalgia, first jobs, and the last days of childhood. So I'm not really sure what to say about this. I read volume 1 and was kind of just like, I don't know what just happened, which from what I've gathered is kind of the reaction of a lot of people. So I have volume 2 and I'm gonna start it, and I think that's kind of where all of the kind of crazy pieces start to come together. So obviously I was intrigued enough to continue with the series. So a few points that I wanted to mention, obviously, Halloween craziness, the element of nostalgia, which is really fun for me, who, a millennial. I like all the nostalgia stuff. But there's also interdimensional time travel, which is crazy, and dinosaurs, which is really the selling point for me. I was like, I'm a dinosaur person. I will absolutely read it. So, yeah. I'm intrigued, and I will see what happens in volume 2 and probably finish the series because, graphic novels are really fun, really quick reads. But yeah, I think that is all I have for you all today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to check out our Teen Services page for book recommendations, upcoming events, blog posts. If you have anything that you want to share, send me an email. It's lauren@scottpublib.org. And I will see you guys soon. Bye!